On to more serious topics.
Serious. Yep.
Enough foreplay. Are you down to 180? Are you biking 50 miles a day? And are you getting weak?
I'm not 180. I am getting weak. I'm like 190.
I heard you say 180. I heard you say 182 on your podcast, and so I just rounded down. I've been spreading rumors saying you're 180.
Yeah, I'm not 180. I'm pretty sure the day that I weighed myself, I was like 182 or 84. I think I was very dehydrated at that time, riding all those miles. But I'm 190 consistently, which is pretty low. I'm riding most days at least an hour, and then 2 or 3 days a week I'm around 2 or 3 hours. And so I started watching the documentary Race Across the Sky, where Lance Armstrong does the race that I'm going to do. And man, I was like, I want to get out there and be overly prepared versus get out there and be underprepared. So you know how I am. If I'm going to do anything, it's going to be to the excess. And so I've been riding a lot, but I'm enjoying it. It's been fun. It's been a different challenge and a different, I don't know, just something different. You know, I've been doing what we've been doing and I'm still doing CrossFit, doing one CrossFit session a day. But you know, kind of the second session that I would have been doing or have been doing for years is usually a bike.
And is it 50 miles a day?
Not a day. I did do a 50 miler the other day. Usually, you know, so trail is a little bit different. So if I'm on mostly trail, I'm averaging probably 11, 12 miles an hour. So that's usually, if I'm doing that hour ride, that's where I'm at. And then I'll do a kind of like a mixed kind of hybrid. I mean, you know where my dad lives, so I'll ride around here for an hour or so, and then I'll climb the whole mountain just to get ready for those climbs at Leadville. I just, like I said, I want to be overly prepared versus getting out there and being like, oh, I'm in over my head.
Sir Moose, Rich, next time you're in the Metro DC area, we'd be honored to have you drop in at Black Widow CrossFit in Sterling.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's hard when you're on a couple's trip or a family or like, you know,
I see trip. What this guy did here. He's making you feel bad. He's probably a Mayhem Gym. He saw you in DC, and now he's just kind of putting the screw to
you. The downstairs gym had like a rack, not a rack, but you know, like a crossover machine, but it had a pull-up bar and some kettlebells and stuff. So one day I just walked downstairs, hit the treadmill, and hit Murph. I was like, all right, here we go, strict Murph, and just did Murph. Took 30 minutes and went back upstairs. So I was like,
hey, did you wing that? Were you just down? Did you know you were gonna do Murph before you went down there? You went down there.
I walked downstairs. I walked in. I was like, hey, Murph's perfect. You know, that first mile, slowly ease into it, kick it up, start kicking the treadmill up as you go, and then basically 20 rounds of strict Cindy, and then get back on the runner. And I mean, heart rate gets up. You get some strict pull-ups, you get push-ups and squats. What else do you need? So that's what I've been doing a lot when I travel, and I'm not necessarily crunched for time, but I don't want to think about anything. I'm like, all right, got to pull up bar. Let's just do Murph. So I've done it probably 4 or 5 times in the last couple months.
Hey, he probably needed. Did you call a mop in there to clean that place up?
I felt bad.
You must
I'm like,
fuck that room
I
up.
just grabbed 8 different wipes, and I'm like trying to sop up all the sweat because I mean, you know how much I sweat. You remember from the marathon row, you know?
Yeah.
Look, you're like, did you pee? No, I didn't pee. I just sweat that much.
It literally looked like you'd peed under your rower.
I'm the grossest person there is when it comes to sweating.
Sevi, how old were you when you first met Rich?
12 years ago? 13 years ago?
What? 10? Must have been 2010, right?
Yeah, it would have been 2010.
So, what was that, 14 or 15 years ago, and I'm 51, so 35 or 36. 30, yeah,
about the same age I am now.
I had heard about him before, though. He was at a sectional or something somewhere on the East Coast. I want to say like Virginia Beach or something, and Dave called me from there.
Went to Jacksonville. Yeah, Jacksonville was semifinals.
Okay, and I remember Dave called me and goes, "Hey, dude, there's a dude here who's gonna win the games," and he didn't say that shit lightly back then, and I was like, "Oh shit," and that was you.
Oh shit. And then I didn't.
Andrew Hiller, wow, 180. I used to look up to Froning.
I know. I'm just letting everybody down these days, you know.
Wad Zombie, Rich needs to go back to eating peanut butter and jelly out of the tub.
Hey,
don't
guys,
you want to be 170?
I want to be.
Don't you want to be 175 for this?
Hey, I'll get back to where I need to be. Yeah, I want to be as light as I can, just because it's less weight you have to carry across 104 miles. Um, so yeah, I'm not doing anything nutritionally to do that. It's just, if I get down there, great. If I don't, I don't. I would the lighter I am, the better off it'll be for the overall race. So
Do you feel better?
no.
You don't? You don't feel better later?
Endurance training sucks. Like it's fun for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, the only thing that's really, honestly, like as lame as it sounds, the only thing that's really getting me through it all is listening to these presidential biographies. Because like I said, I get in there and I'm like, oh yeah, I got an hour. I got 2 hours to listen to, get through this book. So, yeah, I don't know. It's been good. Like I said, I do enjoy getting out, getting into the woods. It's nice that, I don't have to go roll around on a roller or stretch or anything right before I get on the bike. Literally the first 10 or 15 minutes, getting my heart rate up, and I'm good to go for the next hour or two. There's not a ton of warm up for it. You literally just hit the bike, and go.
And Murph seems like a perfect supplement to that.
Yeah, it really is. It's
it's kind of crazy.
It's like if I'm not biking that day because we're traveling, I'm like, all right, Murph, I'm getting a longer sustained effort, not nearly as long as like the bike, but still it's a good sub for it.
Tell me about the race. What's 104 miles look like? Is that get on the bike and you don't get off unless you have to pee or until the race is over? That's it?
There's a couple aid stations. I think at 25, maybe at 50, it's an out and back. The problem, so we're doing it with a charity. It's called First Descents, and they take people basically that have some type of impairment and take them and do outdoor activities. So with Mayhem Mission, we're partnering with them. It's kind of hard to get into the race. You have to qualify, and I just didn't have time to qualify. So we're doing it through this charity, but you have to start at the very back of everybody. So if you've qualified, you get to start towards the front. And so,
are you chipped, Rich? Are you chipped?
Yeah, you're chipped. And so, only 3 people last year apparently made it from what they call the Whites, the charity, and did it sub 9 hours. So my goal is sub 9 hours. And then the more I've been doing it, I'm like, man, I should just do a qualifier and move up. But I want to see this first year if I can do it from the back and see what happens. And then next year, if I don't get it sub 9, I'm going to try to do a qualifier and do it. But we'll see. I'm trying. So
there's hundreds of people who've started back there, and only 3 have made it sub 9.
Yeah, and I mean you're kind of marred in the back, so you have to kind of either cut through everybody or we'll see. So there's a group of, there'll be 4 of us, maybe 5. We're trying to talk Rory into. There was a couple people that had to drop out from First Descent, so we're trying to talk Rory into doing it with us. But there's a couple guys, all remote. One of the guys, Michael, he was here the other day, a good friend of ours from Alabama. Another guy we've met in Amarillo, Spencer, and then Dave Curtis, who I elk hunt a bunch with. We're all kind of we're doing it together, but not together. And we share what we're doing training wise every day, a little bit of group motivation, and so it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Rich, when you travel like this trip to how many days were you in DC?
4.
Do you take anything fitness related? Do you take a jump rope or a ball to roll on or a vest? Do you take anything?
If I'm driving, yes. Flying, jump rope, and then I've got some bands and stuff that I need to use. If I'm driving, usually something is taken. Depends on what we're doing. So like we went to Tyler and Bailey's wedding last weekend, and it was in Missouri. And Bailey's dad has an incredible setup. We call it the Rob Mahal. His name's Robert, and it's impeccable. Like there's not a speck
like the Taj Mahal, but the Rob Mahal.
Yeah, nice. You got it. And there's not like a speck of chalk in this entire place. It's a beautiful like workout facility, pool house thing. And so I didn't bring anything. I brought my bike. That way we found some trails. There was it was called Two Rivers Mountain Bike Park, and it was incredible. But that time, all I brought was my bike because I knew we had a place to work out. And then what I've been trying to do is when I travel, hit a Mayhem affiliate close since we're doing all that. And it's been fun. It's been good to like, because for years I was so hyper focused on just competing. So I'm getting in whatever I need to get in. But now it's like I get to work out for fun. The biking has been my training. But everything else is fun working out, which has been a nice change of pace where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that today. I'm not going to do that, So it's been good for me mentally.
You're taking your bike to Madison to keep the training going?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're going to try to we're working on hopefully stay tuned. But Mayhem Athlete kind of a campground takeover, and then maybe try to do some morning rides from the campsite, or we're going to do kind of a whole Mayhem athlete activation out there.
Bitching.